Good morning, everybody. We're about to start.
All right, good morning. It is July 26th, and we're calling to order the ETP panel meeting for July 26th, and it is 9:31 a.m. I'm going to hand over to staff.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the July panel meeting. Before we begin, there will be a few housekeeping announcements. If there is anyone in the auditorium, in order to prevent any disruptions on the proceeding, please do not stream via mobile device or connect through Zoom platform, as it will interfere with our recording and sound system. If you are attending the meeting in person and are presenting or providing comments, please step up to the podium and speak clearly. For those viewing or attending the meeting virtually and would like to make public comments, please use the raise hand feature and wait for your name to be called, at which time you will be unmuted. Please speak clearly, state your name, title, and the company you are representing. You will be given 3 minutes to speak. Now I'll be calling the roll call. Rebecca Betancourt.
Present.
Gretchen Newsom. Ricky Smiles.
Present.
Michael Hill.
Present.
Douglas Tracy.
Present.
Chris Dombrowski. Madison Hall.
Present.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Present.
Madam Chair, there is 6 members present and 1 virtual member. We have a quorum. Also present, we have Dr. Jessica Grimes, Executive Director, Peter Cooper, Assistant Director, Jaime Gutierrez, Chief Deputy Director, Laura Campbell, Chief of Operations, Tara Armstrong, Deputy Director of Technical Branch, and Michael Cable, Staff Attorney.
Thank you. Can I just check with Madison? She was really quiet because I could just hear her. I'm just asking, is there a way to up her volume when if she's voting or anything so others can hear? She was really quiet. It may be on Madison's end because I felt like it was really faint. I don't know if it's on your end, Madison, or if it's on our end.
Madison, can you speak?
Can you hear me?
That's much better.
Test?
Yep, that's much better, Madison. Thank you. It woke me up then instead of like this really, really quiet. Not that she's ever quiet, but you know. All right. So now that we have everyone present, I am looking for an approval of this month, July's panel meeting agenda. Do I have a motion?
Approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Do we need a roll call today? Yeah.
Chris Dombrowski.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
Thank you. So the motion was adopted for this month's panel meeting agenda. We're now moving to the approval of May's panel meeting minutes. Do I have any amendments to those minutes?
I have one amendment. On page 6 of 16, under tab 3, the funding requested should be $165,600, not $65,600.
A big difference. We'll spot it. All right. So do I have a motion to approve them with that amendment?
Motion to approve with the amended amount.
Second.
I get a roll call.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hill.
Aye.
Thank you. So that's an approval of those with the amendment in that funding. I am now going to turn it over to staff for the executive reports.
Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. I'm excited to share the recent appointment of Kumani Armstrong, who is our incoming Assistant Director, Chief Counsel. We plan to welcome him more formally at our August panel meeting. Today's agenda features 27 proposals, including 2 on the consent calendar, 2 critical proposals, 8 under delegation orders, 1 amendment, and 2 presentations. One presentation summarizes an evaluation of the paid family leave small business grant for rounds 1 and 2. The other is a of progress update on Studio Arts. If all proposals are funded today, the panel will be approving projects in support of 5,480 trainees, or almost 59% of the total amount of trainees for fiscal year 24 to 25, for approximately $9 million. Review and action on these proposals will be presented by the following managers: Kellen Hernandez, Chris Hoover, and Phil Boyer. Additionally, the executive report will continue with the following: an information technology update from Chief Information Officer Tara Armstrong, a legislative update from Staff Attorney Michael Cable, and a budget update from Chief Deputy Director Jaime Gutierrez. That concludes my part of the executive report, so I will hand it over to Tara. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good morning, panel members and stakeholders. Tara Armstrong, Deputy Director and CIO, with your information technology update. So under our Cali program system today, I do have a presentation if we're able to put it up too. The teams have been working on stakeholder system enhancements. So these enhancements help our customers' transactions to be more user-friendly and to reduce errors. So for example, the revision process was enhanced to allow new occupations to be added via this path and allow for new occupations to start enrolling those training hours. Secondly, the upload process was enhanced to allow users to multitask, meaning that they can navigate away from the upload area and be able to work on another transaction or even leave that page. And then they'll be notified via email when the upload is complete. We've also added some notifications on the repeat contractor rules to help in the system to help provide status of where they are with their prior contracts. And to come, we'll be doing some validations on enrollments into job numbers to reduce any potential errors. And under our Cali grant system, we're just continuing with our grant closeout and participant data functionality. And that concludes my update today, unless you have any questions. And if not, I'll pass it over to Michael Cable.
Good morning, panel members. Mike Cable, staff attorney. As you know, the legal unit tracks pertinent legislation as it's going through the legislative process. And in your packet, you have a legislative memorandum of those bills that we're tracking for you. There's two bills that I want to point out today for your knowledge. One would be SB 1321, which is on page 7. This is the employment training panel bill, which, if enacted, would make significant changes to ETP's program, including things like modification to project criteria and eligibility, clarifications regarding funding of apprenticeship programs, and other parts and pieces of our enabling legislation. At this time, it's passed the Senate, and it was last heard in the Assembly's Committee on Appropriations on July 2nd, where it was placed in the suspense file. We're still continuing to track it, because just because it's in the suspense file doesn't mean that the game is over. There's still options that can take place. It can still come out of the suspense file, so we are still tracking it. Obviously, it can die in the suspense file and die in committee as well, so we're just tracking it as it goes along. The other bill I wanted to point out has to do with 525, which is on page 5 of your memorandum. This is SB 525. We talked about it last time. This is that minimum wage for healthcare workers. What I want to point out is that there's an SB 828, which delayed that implementation by 1 month, which actually was approved and chaptered on the last day of our panel meeting. So on the last day of our panel meeting, we talked about SB 525 with the increase, and on that same day, it was approved that there would be a 1 month delay. As I reported last time, staff's on top of this. We're tracking it and following it, and we'll make sure that those wage increases are implemented into the program. That's all I have to report today, unless anybody has any specific questions for me now.
Mr. Cable, I have a question.
Yep.
About SB 1321. I don't know all the details of it, but I'm wondering if there's any current types of contracts that we review that would be excluded based on this bill.
In its current iteration, for the one that was amended on April 25th, because there's been certain changes and amendments to 1321. The last iteration of it, I think, is on April 25th. And there is discussion regarding the language as to whether or not it would be excluding certain contractors. So, for example, I think there's language in there regarding bad actors. So if there's a current debarment that's pending, they would be excluded from funding. There's other provisions in there. I don't know if that'll be the landing spot for the bill, because it still could be subject to change.
Okay, so I understand bad actors, but you know, the types of contracts we get, max and single employers and all kinds of different employers. So does it exclude any of those?
And I would want to, actually, before reporting on it, I would like to go back more thoroughly through the bill. What I could do is between now and our next panel meeting can do a more thorough analysis of it. And
Okay.
Depending on whether or not, if it still stands.
All right. I'm just curious what the impact of this bill would be on us. Thanks.
Other questions? Then I'll pass it on to Jaime Gutierrez.
Thank you. Good morning, panel members, and welcome once again. Happy opening day ceremonies of the Olympics to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity once again to provide the employment training panel summary of funding. As we go into this new fiscal year, I would like to share a few general updates, if I may, to start things off. First is I would like to welcome one of our new managers at ETP, Hannah Hassan. We would like to welcome her to the North Hollywood Regional Office. So please welcome her. She started with us July 15th. I would also like to share that we do have another retirement this year. After 10 years of dedicated service to ETP, Desiree Barriere, who is our HR manager, retired effective July 19th of this year. While we are excited to see Desiree take on this new adventure in her life, obviously she will be a huge loss to the organization. Throughout her tenure, Desiree has made a significant impact and contribution to ETP teams and has been a source of inspiration to many. She played a crucial role in the support of ETP's executives, panel members, business services, and as I said, most recently with the HR unit. So please wish her well. We are very happy for her, but obviously sad for us to see her go. Overall, wanted to provide a quick fiscal update. As you know, there's a lot going on with the state budget, so just wanted to share a little bit of information around that. As I shared in May, the state budget bill did include an across-the-board reduction to state operations by 7.95%. While our collections did come in only 10% lower than what was projected, which is good news, with the 7.95% reduction, it would mean an additional reduction in our funding and potential contracting capacity. What I mentioned in April when we approved the funding was that we had approximately $94.9 million in contracting capacity. With the potential reductions, which again, we do want to say that we don't have the final information from Department of Finance yet as to what the full impact will be. But based on our projections and discussions with our partner EDD around all of this, it does look like we may have a reduction in our contracting capacity down to $89.5 million once the 7.95% reduction goes into effect. So it will reduce our contracting capacity a little bit. The literacy program. I believe it was also in the May panel that there was some questions that were asked regarding the literacy program. We had a couple of contractors that had questions and requested information. ETP staff have met with some of those contractors and that raised concerns and sent out a survey to all 29 literacy contractors. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be completing our analysis, which includes the review of collected data and guidelines, as well as developing recommendations to bring forward to the policy and panel. As appropriate, obviously. Our intentions are to bring this presentation forward to the August panel with all the relevant information and then take appropriate steps if needed to bring information forward to policy for any potential changes that may be required. So I just wanted to share that and to say we haven't forgotten about that request. We're just working on ensuring that we have all the complete information and talk to all the appropriate parties. So more to come on that one. And with that, I'll get into our general funding. As Executive Director Grimes stated, today's panel meeting is for approximately $8.7 million. That includes 2 approved delegation orders. In addition to the 2 projects in the consent calendar, we do have 2 consent calendar projects for $289,240. If all the proposals scheduled for this panel meeting are funded today, the panel will be approving 22 projects. We have 257 applications in demand. 145 applications are currently with the regional office in development. 29 applications are under review by the application and assessment unit, and 83 applications are pending review, have been submitted and are pending review. The estimated value of the 257 applications is approximately $150.5 million and breaks down as follows. 26.8 million in demand for single employer contracts, $3.3 million in demand for small business, and $120.4 million in demand for multiple employer contracts. Regarding the allocations, we are currently within our total allocation for this fiscal year. Again, this is the beginning of the new fiscal year, so we're just starting things off. And that is the final portion of my report, unless there are any questions. And if not, I do have one action item related to the consent calendar. I would like to request that the panel members identify which proposals, if any, they would like to pull from today's consent calendar, and then for a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of any and identity of those proposals being pulled, which will be heard individually and in order.
Does anyone have any packets they want to remove from consent calendar? I mean, there's a slim picking, there's 2. Just wanted to check. No? Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve. The consent calendar.
Get the full motion, Rick. Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Can we go to roll call?
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
And Madison Hall.
So the consent calendar is approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair and panel members.
Can I just check before we move away from Jaime, does anyone have any questions? Because he threw quite a lot of stuff about budgets. So I'm just checking. Anyone have any questions? No. All righty. We are now moving over to a policy committee report out from Mr. Smiles.
Good morning, everyone. Policy committee meeting was on Thursday, June 20th, with attendees both in person and via Zoom. There were 4 discussion topics on the agenda as follows: a discussion on affiliates, how to define them, how to include them in the ETP contracts, etc. A discussion on pilots and guidelines that ETP is beginning a comprehensive review of these policies, and a discussion on application quality with an exploration of items and content that can improve the quality of the proposals coming before panel, and also a discussion informational session on repeat contractor rule. All of these topics, except for the repeat contractor rule, will be standing agenda topics at future policy committee meetings until work involved with those topics has been completed. The next policy committee meeting will be August 29th. Anyone who wishes to submit an agenda topic for the consideration for can email their suggestion to Liz Testa.
Thank you. Any questions from the panel on what policy was working on in the last meeting or discussing? No. I think also public comment on those 4 items is now closed. I know during policy they asked for public comment around those 4 and to email in. I believe it's now closed, correct? I'm looking at staff for confirmation. Yeah, it has. It has now closed on that public comment piece. So we have received all comments that people had from the proposals presented, and hopefully we'll hear more in August on the feedback. Thank you. All right, so now we are moving into panel proposals.
Okay, good morning, panel members. Let's turn into the single employer tabs, and please turn to tab 3. This is a training proposal for Aircraft X-Ray Laboratories Incorporated. This is a priority industry and not a repeat contractor. Total ETP funding being requested today is for $80,864, and that's to train an estimated number of trainees of 76 under Job 1, small business retrainees. Training will be delivered at its Huntington Park headquarters facility. And again, this will be AXL's first ETP contract if approved today. And here today is the company representative to answer any of your questions.
Good morning, panel. My name is Justin Guzman, president of Aircraft X-ray Laboratories. Been there for 40 plus years. And I can't tell you what a lifeline this is for the small business. Today's business climate, with workers' comp, insurance, and just, the energy that we pay for operations is overwhelming. So just to be considered is an honor. So thank you for that. Any questions?
Does anyone on the panel have questions on this proposal? They're being very quiet. So it looks like if we have no questions from the panel, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve contract number ET 25-0108 in the amount of $80,864.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Can we go to a roll call vote?
We have a public comment.
Mike, do you want comments before? Are we getting comments before or after vote? Because we go back and forth on this. Public comment after vote? Before vote. So we'll go to public comment now then.
Rosa, can you hear us? Hello? Okay.
So we did have one, but now none.
No, we don't.
Do we have any public comment in the room? Does not look like it. And definitely not online. So we have no public comments online.
No public comments online.
All right, so we will then go to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
And Madison Hall.
Aye.
So we have all in favor, so the motion is adopted and you're funded.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, panel members. Tab 4 is a proposal from Eaton Corporation, DBA Eaton Aerospace LLC. They are a first-time contractor requesting $387,072 to train 256 workers. Training will take place at Eaton's location in Los Angeles. A representative from Eaton Corporation is present to answer any questions.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, thank you guys for having me here today. I'm very excited about this opportunity. My name is Shonda Stark. I am the HR manager at our Eaton Los Angeles facility. We manufacture aerospace parts that are hydraulic and pneumatic. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about our proposal.
Thank you. Does the panel have any questions on this proposal? Looking down the line. No. Do we have a motion?
A motion to approve contract number ET 25-0113 in the amount of $387,072.
Second. All right, thank you both for running at the same time. Any public comments on this proposal?
No public comments online.
None in the room, so we will go to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
All right, so everyone was in favor, so this proposal is approved. Thank you.
Good morning, Executive Director, Dr. Grimes and panel members. Kellen Hernandez here presenting proposals developed in the San Diego Regional Office today. If you will please turn to tab 5. Tab 5 is a proposal from Adams Wright Aerospace, Inc. Adams Wright Aerospace is requesting $325,584 to train a total of 171 retrainees.
Training will take place at Adams Wright Aerospace location in Orange County. This would be Adams Wright's Aerospace first ETP contract. Representative from Adams Wright Aerospace is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning, panel members. My name is Daniela Park. I'm the HR director at Adams Wright Aerospace. We are a mid-sized aerospace manufacturing company located in Fullerton, California. I'm very excited to be here today, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, so I'm going to open up for any questions from the panel on this proposal. We're in a very quiet mood today, aren't we? All right. I feel like we're really quiet. We're not far in, but it feels quiet so far today. I don't know. Maybe it's just it's been a week and this is going to be a good Friday. All right. So no questions. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve contract number ET 25-0110 in the amount of $325,584.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
Okay, and none in the room. So we will move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
All right, so we're all in favor. So the motion is adopted and you're funded.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please turn to tab 6. Tab 6 is a proposal from Amcor Rigid Packaging USA LLC. They're requesting $643,440 to train a total of 383 retrainees. Training will take place at Amcor's locations in San Bernardino and Solano counties. This would be the company's second ETP contract and the second in the last 5 years. Representative from Amcor is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning.
Good morning, panel. My name is Janine Whitney. I am the HR manager representing our Chino and Fairfield, California locations for Amcor Rigid Packaging. We are a sustainable packaging company, and we currently are thankful for your consideration, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
All right, so does the panel have any questions? No questions. All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve contract number ET 25-0112 in the amount of $643,440.
Second. Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
Thank you. None in the room. So we will move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
All right, so we had all in approval, so you are funded. Thank you.
You will please turn to tab 7. Tab 7 is a proposal from Cambro Manufacturing Company. Cambro Manufacturing Company is requesting $387,128 to train a total of 446 retrainees. Training will take place at Cambro Manufacturing Company's location in Huntington Beach. This would be Cambro Manufacturing Company's first ETP contract. Representative from Cambro Manufacturing Company is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Gloria Flores. I'm the Director of Human Resources for Cambro. We're a plastics manufacturing company for food service industry, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No?
Motion to approve Cambro Manufacturing Company contract number ET 25-0111 in the amount of $387,128.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
And none in the room, so we'll move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
All right, so we're all in favor, so you are funded.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You will please turn to tab 8. Tab 8 is a critical proposal from Genentech Inc. Genentech is requesting $849,660 to train a total of 289 retrainees. Training will take place at Genentech's location in San Diego County. This would be Genentech's first ETP contract. Representative from Genentech is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Bettencourt, panel members, and executive staff. My name is Joaquin Castañeda. I'm the Director of Local Government Affairs at Genentech, and I've had the privilege to work for the company for the last 9 years supporting our U.S. campuses in California, Oregon, and Kentucky. As a founder of biotechnology in 1976, Genentech prides itself as a California-based company that develops and manufactures within the state while investing into innovative and sustainable technologies in our facilities. This proposal in front of you today highlights Genentech's continued legacy commitment to California manufacturing. The Oceanside Single-Use Technology, or OSUT project, will be Genentech's most advanced biomanufacturing facility that we have in our global network. OSUT will not only allow us to manufacture a wider range of therapeutics for our patients quicker and with more flexibility than traditional biomanufacturing, but it will do so with 80% less energy, 60% less water, and significantly reduced waste to landfills. We will also be seeking LEED Platinum certification for our facility. And the process intensification technology project PIT, it will optimize our current operations by 40 to 50%. Commissioning this equipment, this cutting edge equipment, and these new processes will begin this fall, and we will expect to open the facility in early of 2025. ETP funds will support our urgent efforts to onboard, train, reskill, and upskill our unique high-wage workforce of technicians to ensure the facility can successfully produce critically needed therapeutics for our patients on day one. Over the course of a few years, we do anticipate a hiring ramp-up of approximately 80 to 100 employees. And I just thank you for your consideration and on the ongoing work you do to support California manufacturing. Thank you.
Any questions?
Just a question about the training process itself. You said the factory facility won't be online until fall of 2025. Is that correct?
Correct. It's being constructed right now. We will start commissioning of the equipment this fall, and then we will technically have a ribbon cutting or opening of it in probably February of 2025.
Are you able to start the training now in another location?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, what we plan to do is there's a lot of employees that are going to shift from our current operations into this new type of technology. And so that's why we are urgently already training them as we speak. But once the equipment is actually commissioned, there's going to be even a greater emphasis to train them even quicker.
Where are they being trained right now?
It's actually a collaboration with MiraCosta College. They work through a nonprofit called Open Biopharma that have clean space labs that allows our trainees to have that real work experience, but not like on the job or on the floor.
Okay. Yeah. So all the fundamentals, and then when they get the real equipment, they can.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Understand.
I have I'm going to say a question, a watch out. Can you help us understand how you're going to manage the contract? So it's a large fund coming towards you, a lot of employees, a lot of paperwork, requirements, first ETP contract. Can you just help us understand the process of managing that contract from your guys' perspective?
So luckily, we have a dedicated staff specifically for this. So it's not something that we're contracting out. It's not someone that's a consultant. It's actually a full-time employee that's going to be managing this through our learning program. And then luckily, all of our training already is online. So it's quite seamless. So luckily, the marriage between your reporting requirements and what we already report to the FDA for our training and the GMP processes, they merge quite well.
So when you say online on the training, I just want to make sure we get the vernacular right based on the contract. You're talking about the learning management system in the recording, not the actual physical training is all delivered online. Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, there's not a lot of computer-based training in here. So it's like, that one rings an alarm bell. So it's through the use of the learning management system, and that's been approved through staff, correct? In that way. Fantastic. The only other question I had was, how are you displaced or not displacing obviously the closure of San Francisco is a large number. How many of those employees are actually moving down to Southern California, and how many, I'm going to say, were displaced because of that closure?
Yeah, so just for a little bit of a background, our decision to divest out of commercial manufacturing of South San Francisco was about it was done 15 years ago. So we, from the get-go, informed our employees that we were moving our commercial manufacturing out of San Francisco and focusing on clinical manufacturing. So they had ample time in order to support them to make next steps in their careers, and also were able to be absorbed within our network. So I know some of them have gone to our Hillsborough facility up in Oregon, and approximately about 20 have transitioned into our Oceanside facility.
Okay, fantastic. So they will go through the retraining as well for the new equipment?
Yes, and for our process identification project, we're actually going to be retraining our entire manufacturing crew, which are a few dozen. So anybody who touches our processes is going to be retrained, because we're really optimizing the entire facility. So there's going to be a refresh with training site-wide or operations-wide.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments on the panel?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
In regards to the training cost per employee, can you speak a little bit to that? Because $2,900 is usually kind of towards the higher end of training per individual.
I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar on that one specific, due to the fact that John Grimald was actually the lead for some of those specifics. He's head of learning. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today since he is preparing for an audit from the Japanese health ministry. So unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. So unfortunately, I couldn't speak directly to them. Sorry.
Can I lean on staff on this calculation? Isn't it done based on the hours and the salaries and the rest, that netted average of the average cost per trainee?
The average cost per training is if the contractor was to earn 100% of the funding on average, what would the reimbursement be back to the contractor? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's worked out through that way. Yeah. That's what I thought. It was through a calculation with staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Motion to approve Genetec Inc. contract number ET 25-0115 in the amount of $849,660.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments online.
All right. So it looks like no public comments. We will move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
Thank you. So we're all in favor. So you are funded. You're welcome. Good luck.
You will please turn to tab 9. Tab 9 is a proposal from OWB Packers LLC. OWB Packers is requesting $394,240 to train a total of 352 retrainees. Training will take place at OWB Packers location in Imperial County. This would be the company's third ETP contract and the third in the past 5 years. A representative from OWB Packers is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning, panel. My name is Cynthia Perez. I'm the HR director for One World Beef Packers, company founded in 2016, and we are a meat packaging facility in Imperial Valley. We do custom cuts for small ranchers, and we provide the service for distributing facilities and restaurants, all following United States Department of Agriculture, USDA guidelines. We employ approximately 800 employees. Like our regional ATP regional representative mentioned, this is our third contract. We are situated in a high unemployment rate area, which is Imperial County. We currently provided a annual increase to our employees. This has a high impact within the community. We are strong believers of long-term employment and employee retention education and job development through our skill levels of line of progression. So today we would like for the panel to consider our application for a renewal for employee training.
Thank you. Does the panel have any questions? I just had two on your curriculum because I'm curious, because it's where my brain goes. You have two under continuous improvement. One of them says it's Alchemy. When I read the panel proposal in front of us, it talks as Alchemy is your learning management system. So what training are we providing around Alchemy in that curriculum?
So we offer, all our new hires go through a 3-day orientation. This includes training through Alchemy. We provide different trainings. One specifically is food safety manufacturing processes. And Alchemy is used to, for the new hires to select their answers to the questions following the training. And it is also used for current employees for other trainings that we use.
So the topic is probably incorrect, I'm going to say, to staff on the curriculum list, because it's not actually Alchemy. It would be food safety training or the equivalent. Is that correct? Or is the title that you record it as is Alchemy?
It's Alchemy, and it's used for several topics or safety, food, all different types of topics. It's used for Alchemy. We use that system.
Is this so the training being provided? I just want to make sure on the curriculum list, because this is probably quite a big piece. Alchemy is the provider of the training, and then your curriculum is safety training, and it's provided by Alchemy. It just says in the curriculum list Alchemy. That's why I'm just making sure, because it feels weird to title training as the platform you're using versus the topic.
Alchemy is the platform that we use.
So you have items underneath that are curriculum underneath it, but the platform is Alchemy. So the curriculum would not be Alchemy training then?
That is correct.
We might want to make, I don't know if that goes in the motion or if it's just a adjustment on the curriculum list at some point. Does it need to go in motion, or does it? I'm looking over at legal.
Yeah, I mean, if you want that clarification in the proposal, then yeah, it would be part of the motion.
Yeah, because it feels like, I don't know if everyone else feels the same, that Alchemy is a platform that wouldn't be the training topic. So whoever's making that motion, just to remove Alchemy as a training topic. I know I like to put pressure on you guys. I can see Rick's like writing, ready to do it. Okay, any other questions, comments on this proposal? All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve OWB Packers LLC contract number ET 25-0109 in the amount of $394,240 with the amendment of Alchemy as a training program be removed.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment?
No public comments online.
All right. Okay, let's go to vote then.
Thank you.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill. Aye. Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye. All right, so we're all in favor. The motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, panel members, and hello again. Please turn to tab 10. This is a training proposal for AHMC Seton Medical Center, LLC. This is a priority industry and not a repeat contractor. There are 4 unions involved: the Stationary Engineers Local 39, California Nurses Association, Engineers and Scientists of California Local 20, and National Union of Healthcare Workers. Total ETP funding being requested today is for $498,960. That's to train an estimated of trainees of 370 under Job 1, medical skills retrainee, and 26 under Job 2 set priority rate retrainees. Training will be conducted at their 2 campuses in Daly City and Moss Beach. And again, this will be Seton's first ETP contract if approved. Here today are the company representative and its subcontractor training funding source to answer any of your questions.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, panel members and executive staff. My name is Tim Schultz, Associate Chief Operating Officer for AHMC Seton Medical Center based in Daly City. We're a 377-bed acute care hospital serving the needs of residents in the Bay Area. Thank you for favorably supporting our proposal to train our workforce, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does the panel have any questions on this proposal? Just checking. It's very quiet. I can just see Mike's reading. I'm just checking.
Just checking the wage modification.
Okay, so no questions? All right. Okay, so it looks like we have no questions. So I guess we're going to a motion.
Motion to approve AHMC Seton Medical Center LLC, contract number ET 25-0122, in the amount of $498,960.
Do I hear a second? Sorry, does someone second?
Second.
Mike did. Okay, thank you. Any public comment?
No public comments online.
Looks like none in the room, so we will go to vote.
Chris Dombrowski?
Aye.
Mike Hill?
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt?
Aye.
Ricky Smiles?
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill?
Aye.
Doug Tracy?
Aye.
Madison Hall?
Aye.
Yes, so we're all in favor. Your motion's adopted and you are funded.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, panel members. Please turn to tab 11. This is a training proposal for Bridge Bioservices, Inc., DBA Bridge Bio, which is a priority industry and not a repeat contractor. Total ETP funding being requested today is for $308,000 for an estimated number of trainees of 220 under Job 1, priority rate retrainee. And the training will be delivered at its locations in San Francisco, San Carlos, and Palo Alto. This will be Bridge Bio's first ETP proposal. And here today to answer any of your questions is the company representative.
Thank you so much. My name is Shannon Levy. I'm the head of professional development at Bridge Bio. And I want to thank you all for your consideration of our proposal. We treat rare genetic diseases for both pediatrics and all ages. And we are excited to have potentially this additional training.
Thank you. Any questions from the panel or any comments?
Just a question about turnover, the management level. It seems a little high. What's going on?
Our turnover is 7%. And we did have a program that did not move forward about a year ago. And so we did have to lay a few people off. We had an initial data readout that did not go our way. We have since come back, and that same program had a positive readout, and we've actually been able to take it to hopefully commercialization. We're waiting for a PDUFA approval from the FDA in November, and we're actually preparing to upskill an entire sales or commercial team since the second readout did go our way, and it is positive, and we're hoping to bring that heart drug to patients very soon.
I was looking at the management at one, actually at 18%.
That's the percentage of trainees, isn't
That's
it?
just the percent of managers in our total learning population, but we only have 7% turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I was going to mention that. That's
the total number of trainees is 18% is managers and supervisors.
Oh, I see.
That's okay. Every so often I do the same. I look at the number and I'm like, that's high. And then I have to remember it's the trainee number, not the turnover number.
Okay,
so
sorry.
That's okay. No, not a problem at all, Mike. I'd rather you ask. Okay, any other comments or questions?
Motion to approve Bridge Bioservices, Inc., DBA Bridge Bio, contract number ET 25-0123, in the amount of $308,000.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
All right, so no public comments. We'll move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski? Mike Hill?
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt?
Aye.
Ricky Smiles?
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill?
Aye.
Doug Tracy?
Aye.
Madison Hall?
Aye.
Okay, so we're all in favor. The motion's adopted and you are funded. Good luck.
Next, we have tab 12, a proposal from Delaware Valley Laboratory, Inc. They are a repeat contractor requesting $198,240 to train 120 workers. Training will take place at Delaware Valley's location in Fresno, Hanford, and Davis. A representative from Delaware Valley Laboratory is present to answer any questions.
Good morning. My name is Martha Robichaux. I'm the Human Resources Manager for Delaware Valley Laboratory and here to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions on this proposal? I do have one. I feel like I'm echoing panel member who's not here at the moment. There is a wage modification listed in here that you're asking around job number 1. No, sorry, for job number 2, there's a wage modification from $22.55 per hour to $18.50 per hour. For those employees that are going through, is there a progression once they've completed training to go to a higher wage, or are they going to net out at that? When we see wage modifications, we always like to probe into them.
So we have, I've really worked with our company to try and put a plan together for training for our employees. So I came in 2001 in the beginning of our first contract. And so we implemented levels to our job descriptions so that there was a clear pathway for individuals once they completed different types of training within the job that they moved to the next level. So we wanted to make sure that the managers were clear about the next step and what they need to do to complete to get to the next level.
And I just want to throw in there that all of their operations are in a high unemployment area.
Mm-hmm. It's for that one job, yeah.
Wage is $16.90 for ETP, but we only requested to use HUA for the one at 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure whether there a way that they could then progress further, as long as they're, yeah. So that's where I'm channeling my panel member who is not here. She would be so proud that I'm picking on wages, but it's that one where I was like, that is even in a HUE area, that is still low. So we're just like, is that going to progress them further once they complete training? Not that every piece of training requires a wage increase, but it just helps them. That's good. That's all I wanted to check. Any other questions or concerns or comments? No?
Motion to approve Della Valley Laboratory, Inc., contract number ET 25-0103 in the amount of $198,240.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
All right, so we will move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Bancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
Well, so we are all in favor. The motion is adopted. You're welcome. Is it Bosch next?
I believe there's a recusal on this
Are we
next one.
recusing? Am I just a proposal behind? I am. I'm recusing myself on this one. You can tell I'm like, where am I? Okay, I'm recusing myself and I'm handing it over to Ricky Smiles. There you go.
Alrighty, tab 13 is a proposal from E&J Gallo Winery. Please note there is a correction to the company name on the proposal. The company name is E&J Gallo Winery with no DBA. They are a repeat contractor requesting $599,872 to train 412 workers. Training will take place at E&J Gallo Winery's locations in Napa, Sonoma, San Luis Obispo, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, Merced, Fresno, and Monterey counties. A representative from E&J Gallo Winery is present to answer any questions.
Hello, panel. My name is Matthew Pedrick. I'm the Senior Director of Learning and Development for E&J Gallo, now Gallo. As Phil said, we've had previous contracts. We've been 100% on those contracts. Thank you for reviewing this year's contract. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from the panel? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve E&J Gallo Winery in the amount of $599,872.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we will look to public comment.
No public comments online.
Okay, we'll move to a vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
Okay, we have a motion is approved. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, let me go. Do you really want me to go get it? Okay.
You miss me so much. I know, it's all right.
I was going to, but.
All righty. Okay, where are we up to?
Alrighty, thank you, panel. Tab 14 is a proposal from North Star Energy Management LLC, DBA Nova Source Power Services. They have withdrawn from this panel and will attend a future panel meeting. So moving on to tab 15. Tab 15 is a proposal from Robert Bosch Semiconductor LLC, designated as a critical proposal recommended by the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. They're a first-time contractor requesting $739,200 to train 240 workers. Training will take place at Robert Bosch's locations in Roseville. A representative from Robert Bosch Semiconductor is present to answer any questions.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, panel. My name is Scott Olson. I'm the Human Resources Director for Robert Bosch Semiconductor's Roseville operations. I'm joined by Andrea Nessler, who is a project HR director, also visiting here from our facility in Reutlingen, Germany, where the mothership, if you will. Robert Bosch Semiconductor in Roseville is in the process of a complete refurbishment of the facility, investing over $2 billion in the California economy for this refurbishment effort. This refurbishment is complete and total. It will involve the necessity for us to retrain our 240 associates who were carried over as part of the acquisition. So they're legacy employees that were rehired by Robert Bosch Semiconductor. But while they are familiar with semiconductor manufacturing, they're not familiar with this new technology that we're implementing. So there is a complete upskill, if you will, requirement necessary for us to be productive. Robert Bosch will be making silicon carbide chips for the electric vehicle marketplace. And we're very excited about the future of that facility. And we're happy to answer any questions that the panel may have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Couple questions.
Of course, yeah.
So I notice in the write-up, it refers to Lam Corporation. I'm assuming that's Lam Research and not Lam Corporation in New Mexico.
That's correct. It's Lam Research. It's a semiconductor equipment manufacturing company. And our technicians must be trained by that factory in order to bring that knowledge back and then basically train the rest of the associates at the factory. Yeah.
You're gonna train people in Villach, Austria at their Lam's facility there?
Yep, there's a great effort underway. A number of our engineers and technicians are visiting not only our equipment suppliers, but also the sister facility in Reutlingen to understand this manufacturing process. And then they're bringing that knowledge back, and we'll do the train the trainer approach to basically spreading that. Thank you.
The people trained in Austria won't be included in this contract. It's just the people here that are trained by those subject matter experts.
Can you rephrase the question again?
Yeah, so if we send people to Austria to train them, question is, are they included in the contract, or are you using them as the trainers for the folks here in California?
We would like to submit their time spent at Lam Research as training hours. If that's not permissible, certainly upon their return, as they are then training their peers on this equipment, we would of course be submitting that for reimbursement. Yeah.
Just a point of clarification, are you saying the hours that you'd like to submit are the trainees that will be trained in Austria, those hours?
We would propose to do that.
Okay.
We're paying them.
That's the question, yeah. I don't know.
It's a very small number of individuals, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And there is no cost for the Lam training from what I'm seeing in this proposal. It's just the employee's time going there, but there is no charge from Lam for the training.
We're giving them a very large sums of money but not for the training. That's correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you've got the subcontractor as the vendor and it shows a zero cost. So I just wanted to make sure that was accurate in the reflection. I can see Mike's brain thinking.
I know a little bit about the Veloc factory in Austria, and it's a clean, strip and clean equipment facility. So I'm curious, that's only seems to be one piece of equipment that would be in your factory here.
That's correct.
So, and it has not, I don't think it has anything to do with the new technology, except for the equipment probably can process that for you. So are you training in other locations like Lamb Research in Fremont or Livermore or somewhere else?
At this time, that is not known, but you are accurate that there are many process-related steps in semiconductor. You know, there are many different equipment vendors and platforms, and I think the proposal speaks to the idea that there could be additional equipment vendors for which we would need to send workers to those facilities in order to be trained on that platform. To my knowledge, there's not currently a plan to send trainees to local manufacturers.
Questions? I think it stems to a similar one we had of a similar size amount. This is first time contract. There's a lot of, I'm going to say, documentation requirements under ETP for reimbursement to ensure we're tracking the right employees, wages, numbers of hours, etc. How do you plan to manage that sizable lift of administration on a contract this size?
So we have a dedicated team of individuals who are at the ready to track. We're going to be using a roster-based approach, which was approved by the staff, and we have a team of 3 individuals who will be managing the rosters and uploads to the ETP portal.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions, comments from the panel?
We have prior approvals where we have this situation. People are trained in a different country and we're including those training hours in our contract.
Can we ask that question of staff?
Yeah. Does staff know of any in the prior?
That's part of the reasoning behind the narrative section for the out-of-state training vendor. So we are allowed to, conduct out of country as well, just with reasonable justification behind that.
Are you happy with the reasonable justification? Yeah. I guess is my question to
yes.
you. You are. Okay. So because you're happy with the reasonable justification, then we can let it go through. All right. So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve Robert Bosch Semiconductor LLC and the ET contract number 25-0104 in the amount of $739,200.
Second.
Any public comment?
No public comments online.
Right, so no public comments. We'll move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye. Okay, so we're all in favor. The motion is adopted. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your support.
Okay, panel members, we're going to move into the multiple employer contracts, the MECs. So please turn to tab 16, which is a training proposal for Nomon. This is a priority industry and a repeat contractor. There is a union involved. Tag 839, the Animation Guild, IATSE Local 839. Total ETP funding being requested today is for $838,600. And that is to train an estimated number of trainees of 700 under Job 1, which is a small business retrainee priority rate. Training will be conducted out of its Hollywood campus and or at the participating employers' locations. This will be Nomon's 30 ETP contract and its third in the last 5 years. And here today to answering your questions is the company representative.
Good morning, panel members. My name is Lily Feliciano. I am the manager of industry outreach and events for Nomon. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Good morning. Does the panel have any questions? I have one around current performance, so I just want to see if anyone had anything else before I go down that I'm going to say rabbit hole because it's my rabbit hole. So we're looking at where you stand today on current performance. So you did hear earlier there's policy committees talking about repeat contractors, but one of the things I see in yours currently is you have a contract that is closed out or has ended, is still in final invoicing, and you could close out anywhere between 68 to 92%, depending on the invoices that need to be answered, questions, etc. Can you help us? It makes me nervous to award 100% when people are not necessarily, you may be what we would classify as underperforming after the time, where we look at 75% of performance. We often say we want to reduce down to what prior had been earning. So I'm a bit nervous about awarding given current states. I want to offer one of two options. Is we could say, okay, we're sitting at 68%. We right size down to 68%, or we consider coming back or helping us feel more comfortable that we could be anywhere between 68 to 92% final invoice, because that's a big range. I don't know if it's just me, but that feels like a really big range of you could be 68, you could be 92. So I don't know which way you feel or how you want to try and convince us that we're going to be hitting nearer to 92% of final invoice on that prior contract.
For our final invoice, I feel confident that we're going to hit 100% because we overtrained by more than 20%, which is what we did on the previous two as well. We have such a long list of trainees coming in that we often have wait lists for the classes that they want to take. And even as funds were exhausted on previous contracts, we allowed trainees to come in and take classes knowing that we didn't have ETP funds to cover them because we didn't want to deny them access to training that would help them in their jobs. And I feel very strongly on this one as well that it will perform exactly the same.
Yeah, I think as we look at numbers currently, our total invoice currently is 68%, not 92. There's potential by the looks of it from things coming in. So I don't know how others feel about this. I'm happy for others to chime in here. Looking at the value we're looking at is over 800,000 in this next contract, and we're currently anywhere between 68% to 92. I don't know how comfortable I am, but others can be different around awarding full funding at the moment.
I would be comfortable right-sizing it personally.
Or coming back when closer to the over 75% on final invoice.
Are we past the contract date already?
So the contract, let me look, the term end date on this contract was 5/30/2024 with a potential earnings of 420,000, give or take some change. And the fiscal final review currently is at 220, which is 68%. But there is talk of more being available, correct? But we haven't got the invoices. Is that how I'm reading? I'm looking at stuff.
Yes, correct, Madam Chair. So the way it works is they have the potential for, if you're looking at, they have the potential for up to 120% based on the information that was submitted in P1 and P2. What they have submitted as part of the final payments, what we call the P4, can be up to the 92% that has been submitted. However, there's obviously some, as we're reviewing all of those final payments, there's been some discrepancies, which is where the 68% comes from. To be fair, as they stated, because they have so many other trainees that they have identified in the P1 and P2, it is still possible that through that process, they could meet the 100%. But at this point, what we have is the potential for 92% based on what has been submitted. And depending on the discrepancies, it could be as low as 62%.
Yeah, it's a big range. That's what makes
68%,
but it's a big range from 68 to 92 and accuracy and the others. And that's where it makes me uneasy to award an 800,000 when we're such a big range of whether we could or couldn't be at completion of high or under.
Yeah, I have the same concerns.
Anyone else? I see wheels turning with people. Thoughts? I mean, for me, I feel there's one of two options. This is just me, is to urge on the 68% right size, or consider coming back when the final P4s are, when we've got the rest for that remaining 68 to 92%, that remaining nearly 30%, to then come back and come in for the full 833,000, I think it was. We've had a couple recently that have been, we've given this option to, as we're looking at performance on contracts on that side.
We'd prefer to take the reduced amount now.
Okay, so I'd have to look at staff to calculate that one if we did it at the 68%, which is what the P4 is currently sitting at, correct?
Where the P4 is currently sitting at, that has been verified.
It has been verified,
right?
yeah.
So again, just to be clear, right? They have submitted enough for the 90.
This hasn't been verified, correct?
Right. There's been issues with the CEANs verifying those participants. Yeah. That's what's bringing it down to the 68%. So if we do have others in there that we can verify and validate, then it could potentially go up.
Could go up, but
Correct.
It's on the choice of ensuring. So far, we've had some accuracy issues. So I guess it goes to the contractor to decide which way they want to go with this. I'm looking at legal to make sure I'm doing this right. Yep, okay. So what would be 68% of the 833,600? I don't know. I'm not good at math.
It's 572.48.
572.48. You got that?
I do have a question. So if we waited potentially just even 30 days to our next meeting, would those numbers be more verified at that point?
Yes, they would.
Yeah. So that's what honestly, that's, yeah, it's
as
up
a
to the
benefit
contractor.
to the contractor themselves, I think it'd be better that we wait the 30 days. And at that point, you get what you're asking for. There's no accepting a lower amount. If those numbers are going to come through verified, and from past history, it appears that there's not been an issue with the contractor anyway. I would
100%. I'm happy either way. Yeah.
Would make a motion that we would table this until next month, and actually at that point, then next month we'd be able to understand what we're doing and give the full amount at that point. So I would make that motion that we table this.
I would put it in the hands of the contractor to decide which way they want to, but I totally agree that come August panel, they could be at above 75 and we'll all be like, here's the full funding. 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate that confidence. Right now, it's really a matter of trying to accommodate people, trainees that are currently waiting to get training as we speak. And so I'd really like to be able to serve them immediately, and we'll take the reduced amount today and, come back for the next round.
All right. So
motion to approve NOMON contract number ET 25-0124 in the right size amount of $572,048.
Yes.
Hang
on.
Just
did he miss number?
I have a $570,248.
Okay. 570,248.
Yeah, 570,248.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, you got it.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment?
No public comments online.
And can we go to vote then, please?
Chris Dombrowski, Mike Hill,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Doug Tracy,
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye. All right, so we're all in favor. You are funded. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we move on to any further proposals, I'm looking at the agenda and I'm being kept on time. It said we were going to take a break at 10:45 and we are bang on 10:45, depending on which clock you look at. One says 10:44, that one says even, and I can't even read it from here. My computer says 10:45. So we will be back in 15 minutes at whether it's up there, 10:59, or my computer says 11 o'clock. Okay, is that working now? Oh, someone's pressed a button, not me. That's always good. So we're going to come back at 11:01 and we're going to move back to proposals. And whose ball it's in?
Alrighty. Tab 17 is a proposal from JVS SoCal. They are a repeat contractor requesting $545,992 to train 139 new hires. Training will take place at JVS SoCal's Training Center in Los Angeles. A representative from JVS SoCal is present to answer any questions.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, panel members. So my name is Julian Hampton, and I'm the Director of Career Training for JVS Works, which is JVS SoCal's training programs. We're a successful repeat contractor providing services to low to moderate income neighborhoods at no cost to our participants. Our programs for this contract are banking and financial services industry, apartment maintenance, and office administrative training positions. Our goal is to set up our participants up to obtain sustainable wages to support their families that are either in poverty, unemployed, or underemployed. Thanks to the extraordinary support of the employment training panel over the years, we're able to not only train individuals for these careers, but provide supportive services, also job placement assistance, post-employment job coaching to assist with their retention within the job, which benefits employers, it benefits families, it benefits communities, and it allows us to change lives one job at a time. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I have a couple, but before I ask.
I just have a point of clarification for us. I think it's the previous contract looks like it's a little over 3 years. Do we normally do 3 or?
Hang on, let me look at it. I'm scrolling. I'm getting there.
It is a HWAF project, so it has a longer contract term.
And that's the current actual,
alternative funding source.
Yes, correct.
Right? It's not a core funded.
That is correct. Thank you, Dr. Grimes.
And is that contract different than the one that's currently up for?
Yes, so that one is under the healthcare ones that we were awarding last August.
Right.
And you're allowed to have that and an additional, because it's an alternate fund, not core funded. This is a core funded project instead. I do have a piece on prior performance, but before we get there, I have a question on, I don't know if this is going to be a staff question or if it's going to be a JVS question. If you look at your post-retention wage of trainees, which is usually the lowest wage of anyone who's gone through training, it's showing $19.30. But when I look at your wage ranges in the wage tables, the lowest wage is listed at 17. So I don't know if something.
It was increased to the new higher wage for the Los Angeles County of 1930.
So 1930 because of a new higher wage of the county. Okay. But yes, yet we will allow a $17 wage for the office administrator work and the $17.44 and the $17.50 in the occupations.
No, I believe all trainees will need to meet the post-retention of 1930.
Okay, so just to make that clear on there, because as we were looking at it, we were like, looks like a discrepancy, but now I get it. So you have the Los Angeles County of 1930. So basically anyone completing training, their post-retention needs to be at 1930. They can be trained at 17, but they need to move to 1930 when you're submitting. They should have progressed to that minimum wage.
Absolutely.
Does that help you? Good. Okay.
That's a pretty big jump, though.
It is a big jump, yeah. I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that so that if there was any questions or coming back in performance later, if that comes up. Yeah. hopefully people have got good wage progressions with their employees as they're training them, which is fantastic.
Yes.
We like that.
Madam Chair, just to confirm too, they also have the use of healthcare benefits of $2.30
So that helps
to
move
help
them
with
up a
that.
bit. Yeah. So that helps as well, but it's still a bit of a jump. The other question I had is on your, I'm not going to say current contract because you have an HWAF that's current, but your contract it's just closed. We were looking at performance on that and we're showing close to 75%, but we're showing somewhere between a 73 to 79% based on invoices coming in. It kind of goes to the same conversation that we were having before around performance. You're very close to 75%, but currently given what's been processed, we're looking at like 73%. It may go up to 79 unless other errors come into play. I don't know how panel feel about funding at full fund, if they're going to be between 73 and 79%, or if we want to right size in the same way or give the same option of coming back in a month once the billing's adjusted accordingly.
Madam Chair? So I would say this, I would say one, our expectation is for this new contract to be at 100%. Through our previous contracts, you've seen great numbers consistently. This contract, we did have some organizational restructuring. We had a director retire, another director move on, and some other positions. So what we've done to address that, now I've taken over as director. I've also promoted a couple individuals into senior positions that are assisting, and we've increased our hiring pool because I was training at the same time I was associate director. So now we have a full staff to be able to handle this up to 100%. And I think our track record hopefully speaks for itself that we're committed to this and we want to serve as many people as we possibly can.
I totally understand going forward. We're talking about the one that finished in March. So we're bringing in the P4 invoices currently. You're looking at between 73 and 79.
Yes.
Are you, if we, and I want to give you the same pretty much as what we did with the prior, where it's, you could take it 73% of earn to have for this one, or come back, say in a month where the invoices have been tightened up, you've got your everything and you push to 79%, you would be at the 100% funded because you've met over 75%. Up to you. It just feels a bit like we're being to be consistent on performance related to OneMax currently.
I concur.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments?
Yeah, I would fully agree again with what you said, and somewhat the same situation. Track record looks fantastic, right? Potentially, again, if I was in your shoes, but it's your call. I think, you know, waiting the 30 days, get that number where it's got to be. You get 100% of the funding.
Okay.
But again, your decision, right?
Let me ask this question, please. What is the timeline? Does that decision need to be made right at this moment?
The decision of if you would take 73% of funds versus tabling and coming back.
Yes, please.
It's the option on, it's on your, because we can hold it either way. We could vote and say we want to table, get you to come back at another time, or you can make that decision. I don't think it's really looking at the council. Who's bought?
I guess effectively, I mean, if the panel's asking which path they want to go down, they have to make a decision as to.
We're asking the contractor to make the decision, yeah.
So the decision would be made now.
Okay, and what would be the 75% of?
73%
or 73%.
What is the total number? I haven't got the total number in front of me. 73% of 545.
398,574.16.
So just shy of 400,000.
I would say, I believe we may be able to get up to that amount. This is a 2-year contract.
So this is in that prior contract that finished in March of this year.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And if you need more than 30 and you need 60, it's your choice as to when to come back based on the billing. You could come back in 30. You could say, hey, I need to come back in 60 to make sure we're really on point for 75% as well.
Okay.
Sorry, Madam Chair, from an invoicing perspective, obviously, if we're just trying to accomplish the 75%, it's already close. So we could certainly make sure that that is at least there by the next panel meeting. If that is the request, and if that is the choice that is made to move to the next panel, we can commit to that.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay, so basically the next panel meeting, we'd be looking, as long as we were over 75, we would be able to get 100%.
Correct, the $545,992, yep.
Okay, all right. I think we'll go that route then.
Okay. So we will table. Yep, so we'll just do a motion.
Motion to table.
Second.
Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
Right,
oh,
so
actually, one just popped up. Hold on. John, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. This is John Fox from San Bernardino Community College District. I wanted to just bring up a comment related to the changes in the repeat contractor rule and the 75%, and perhaps just get some clarification on whether this was going to be kind of a standing policy moving forward, where if a contractor is coming in asking for a repeat contract and has invoices that are over 75%, but it's not actual earned, if the panel is going to be looking at right sizing all of those. That's just my question. Thank you.
I'm going to look at staff to. I don't think we do.
That seemed to be an unrelated question to the motion.
To this proposal, yeah.
Currently, what we have is a motion and a second to table this item to next month. So I would think that we would just call a vote on that.
We'll vote on that, and then we'll public comment heard, but we're not responding. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we'll move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
Okay, so we all voted in favor to table, and see you next month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, panel members, let's turn to tab 18. This is a training proposal for Los Angeles Pacific College. This is a priority industry and a repeat contractor. Total ETB funding being requested today is for $197,385. That's to train an estimate of trainees of 45 under job 1, new hire with multiple barriers, and 35 under job 2 for entrepreneurial small business retrainees. The training will be conducted out of its Los Angeles campus and at the participating employers' locations in Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Riverside, and Orange counties. This will be LAPC's 10th ETP contract, and its 3rd in the last 5 years. And here today to answer your questions is the company representative.
Good morning. My name is Israel Campos. I'm the Associate Director of Operations for Los Angeles Pacific College. I would like to thank the panel for the opportunity to present today. So our college has been in operation since 1989. We've been training students find fulfilling careers in accounting, computer graphic design, and web development. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Does the panel have any questions? Before I go down my rabbit hole.
Go for it.
Go for it, thank you. Just what I want. Okay, so very similar to some of the others, we're seeing you had a contract that closed out 3/30/2024. And at final fiscal review, at present, we're only at 62% of potential earned of that contract. So it's looking like you have slightly underperformed in that prior contract. So we may want to have a conversation around, are we do you want to take a right size based on that piece? Because it is quite considerably low at 62% of performance.
The potential earnings that we do have at the moment for the current contract, it does look like it's going to be 136,000, which would be the 88% of the total amount for that contract. So that is what we were expecting for the final payout to be.
Let me look at staff.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, thank you. Yeah, what they have as potential earned at this point is approximately 88%. What they have submitted in their invoices is at 62.6 or 63% roughly. Obviously, they can still submit additional final payment invoices, which would get them to the higher amount. But what has been submitted at this point, as far as final payments, is at 63%.
That would be I'm going to call my red flag here. The contract termed in March. We're now in end of July. So how many months? March, April, May. Several months later, and we still haven't got the final invoices coming in. Just makes me a bit uneasy to award full. Again, I'm happy to extend, come back in 30 days with the remaining invoices and be at 88%, come back out with 100%. It just feels, for management of contracts, for people coming in for funding, a bit lazy to wait this long to submit, but come in front for more funding. But I don't know how others are feeling. Agreed. Concur. So I want to give you two options, just like we have with everyone else, to either take at the 62.68%, which is about $122,378.70 for this new contract, or come back in 30 days with the remainder of those invoices being submitted to come back for full funding.
We were planning on completing the contract before the 2 years anyway. So we'll go ahead and take the reduced amount.
You'd like to take the reduced amount instead? Okay.
And just for the record, that last contract in question, is it for expansion funds, not core funds?
Expansion, not core. So we're still at a lower percent on performance. Does anyone else have concerns on that? No. Okay, so to take the lower fund amount, which is a
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. You got the number? Okay.
Okay, motion to approve.
Hang on 1 second, Jessica.
So I just want to reiterate what you said, because this is what we saw in JVS, which we had the HWAF?
Mm-hmm.
And this one is also an alt funded project. It's not core funding.
How are people feeling? But still didn't perform.
So that has not been a part of, I believe, the repeat contractor, alt funds.
Correct. So the alt funding, which expansion, CCC, healthcare and literacy have not been incorporated as part of performance when looking at the core funding. So as it relates to the repeat contractor rule, it solely applied to core funding projects.
Look at others and get thoughts.
So would it be consistent with what we've done with the other two applications to reduce it, or does that not apply?
So essentially, I think what we're saying, Member Smiles, is that you kind of have to look at it like there is no other project if you're looking at if it is an alternative, right? So when we're looking at performance as it relates to the repeat contractor rule, we're looking at it if it's core, then we look at the performance. If it's an alternative, which is one of the others I mentioned, then it's almost like it doesn't exist as it relates to performance, if that makes sense.
Interesting, yeah.
I'm still uneasy with the performance not being where it needs to be on a
regardless of type of funding. I guess I look at it, we weren't running two concurrently. If we were running two concurrently, I think for me, whether it's core or alternate, performance is always an issue because funds are always in demand, whether it's alternate funds or whether it's core, the two buckets. So for me, I struggle, but even though it's not in that exact, it's still performance of someone else has not had funds because of the fact that, and that's the piece that I struggle with, but I'm opening up to these guys.
Correct. So there's obviously performance applies to all of them in some way. The reason why it's different and it was set up that way is because performance may be different, or the requirements for the alternative funds are different, right? We create separate guidelines for those alternative funds that says this is what is required as part of that particular funding stream, and it may differ from what the core funding requirements are. So that's why we treat it separately.
I'm going to look to fellow panel members to give some thought, ideas, comment. I'm going to look at Doug. He also has an opinion. He's writing. He's thinking. I can see he's thinking. He's like putting some pen to paper. It's a worrying sign. So where does everyone stand?
I still think that we should, it should be right sized.
Right.
I would agree with that assessment.
Thanks on the same. Madison, do you have any thoughts?
I agree with right sizing.
I guess we'll make that motion then.
A motion to approve Los Angeles Pacific College contract number ET 25-0119 in the amount of the right size amount of $122,378.70.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that the correct amount?
That was the correct amount, yeah. So we had a second. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
Alrighty, so I hear the motion. Can we go to vote?
Madam Chair.
Yep.
That's not the right dollar amount I calculated based on the percentage. It should be 1,23721.
Do we need to restate with a new dollar?
Okay, so restate the amount right size to $123,721.
Second.
And a second. Did I hear a second down there? Okay, with Doug. Thank you. All right, so we will move to a vote.
Chris Dombrowski, Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
Right, so the motion's adopted. It's approved at that amount.
Thank you.
If you'll please turn to tab 19. Tab 19 is a proposal from American Education Systems Corp., DBA American College of Healthcare and Technology. AESC is a repeat contractor requesting $838,600 to train a total of 280 retrainees. AESC will coordinate with participating employers to deliver training locations statewide. This would be the organization's fifth ETP contract in the past 5 years. Representative from AESC is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning, panel members. My name is Barry Maliki, Executive Director of AEC, and I'm responsible for operating the ETP contract. And we primarily cater to architectural, engineering, construction, and manufacturing companies. We do provide computer-aided design and also Revit training and building information modeling. We have a number of courses that we offer to these companies, and majority of these companies, they are engaged with state projects like freeway expansion, airport expansion, and our clientele are engineers, architects, and designers. Any question you may have, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Does the panel have any questions? Comments? No. No questions, no comments. Looks like, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve American Educational Systems Corp. DBA American College of Healthcare and Technology, contract number ET 25-0106 in the amount of $838,600.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
None in the room, so we will move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski, Mike Hill,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Doug Tracy,
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
All right, so all were in favor. You are approved. Thank you.
You'll please turn to tab 20. Tab 20 is a proposal from the Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation. They are first-time contractor requesting $315,580 to train a total of 155 retrainees. Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation will coordinate with participating employers to deliver training at their locations in Imperial County. This would be the organization's first ETP contract. Representatives from the Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation are present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the panel. My name is Sean Wilcock. I'm the Vice President of Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation. I've had the pleasure of promoting and bringing awareness of ETP and the program for about 13 years. So I'm happy to be here in front of the illustrious panel that I've heard so much about over all those years. We are a full-service economic development organization focused on business attraction, retention, and expansion. And so this is going to be a very beneficial tool for us to work with our business community in a high unemployment area and help them be more competitive and be able to upskill their current employees. One of the ancillary benefits that we see of this contract we have in front of us today is this will be a great mechanism to help us cut our teeth and learn how to work with all of you in anticipation for the emerging Lithium Valley industry that is within our county. So we see this as a very beneficial learning curve for us to be able to hit the ground running and learn about how to work with you so that we can prepare for when Lithium Valley actually comes to fruition and we're able to hit the ground running and work with those companies. By the way, they're all clients of ours, so we'll be in a very good position to come back to you with another contract after we complete this one. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions on this proposal? Any questions? No? Do I have a motion then?
A motion to approve Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation contract number ET 25-0114 in the amount of $315,580.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comments online.
None in the room, so we will move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski, Mike Hill,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill, aye. Doug Tracy,
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
All right, so we all voted in favor, so the funding is approved.
Well.
Tab 21 is an amendment from Tully Inc. This amendment requests the use of an out-of-state training vendor. A representative from Tully Inc. is present to answer any questions.
Hi, I'm Margot Davidson. I'm the Director of HR for Tully Consulting Group. And I'm here to get approval to amend our contract to use an out-of-state vendor. Tully Consulting Group has been providing stormwater pollution prevention plans for about 15 years. We follow the rules and regulations of the state, California State Water Resources Control Board. And we follow the list that they provide for us of accepted vendors for training. The trainer that we use is based in Colorado. This certification, which is the QSP, It is qualified SWIP practitioner. It's required of all of our inspectors. It is a national certification that is the underlying cert for the state cert. So you have to have this national certification in order to get the California certification. So there is one other company that provides this service, but we've been using the Colorado company for about 15 years. Robin, who is the, Robin Tully, who is the owner and engineer of the company, preferred Ecopliant. It is also recognized by the California Stormwater Quality Association, CASCA. And she just felt that the quality of the curriculum was superior than the company that provides that national training here, and the quality of the instructors. So we've been using this training. We have been training our folks all along with this. So we're coming to the end of our contract, and we'd really appreciate if you would approve this amendment.
Does the panel have any questions?
I just want clarification on that. So there is a California national certifier, but you prefer to use the one in Colorado?
Correct. Well, that's two different certs. There's the it's national and the Californian, but there is an office here that it provides that national training. Yes.
I have a slightly different question to that. I'm looking at the term of the contract. So this contract went into effect in December of 2022.
Correct.
Is there a reason this wasn't brought up when doing your initial contract, knowing that we may be training these people on these topics? Or is this business has shifted, we need to change our use, or we're getting close to the contract, we're running out of hours? We're trying to cover.
I have no idea. It just came up like within the last couple of months.
Because it sounds like it's something you guys have been using for the last 15 years. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, how did we miss it back in the initial contract?
I don't know.
Versus now. That's my question to all, I guess.
And that was my question too.
Yeah, that's I guess that's my question is, how did it get missed if it's something we've been using for 15 years to suddenly be like, oh, hang on, we got to train these 34 people and we're near the end of the contract. That's my question. Thought, comment, whatever you want to put to it.
My question as well.
Anyone else?
There also a request for a retroactive effective date back, maybe I'm wrong, but December of 22.
It does say, yeah, to include any training that's already occurred on that training.
Is that normal?
It's part of an amendment into, we want to include this. I think that's saying they would like to include it from the beginning of this contract. That kind of goes back to my question of, you want the amendment, we've been using them for 15 years. How did it get missed in the initial?
Because we've created like 9 new jobs. All of these are entry-level folks that come to us and get their on-the-job training, and it takes 2 years for them to get this certification. All along.
Questions, thoughts on this side?
So I'm a little bit uncomfortable if there's actually a state company that offers it, state of California company that offers it. I understand that the company you're using is the one you prefer to use. I'm also looking at the idea that this contract expires in 4 months, 5 months, whatever it's going to be here. So I don't know if this would be a better situation for us to look at it more in depth when it comes up as a new contract going forward.
So you're saying leaning towards to deny the amendment based on we're near the end of the contract, we're suddenly realizing it was missing from the beginning contract for an out-of-state vendor use? Because they're asking for retroactive, so from the beginning of this contract back in December of 22, to apply any training provided by this contractor who's an outside company, correct? Outside of state company from December of so from the beginning of the contract, rather than from today onwards for the last 5 months, they're asking for retro. If I read that correctly, correct?
Yeah.
Jennifer.
I just have a quick question and clarification. So you said that this specific certification is a 2-year process?
Yes.
Okay, so they've been training with the out-of-state person?
No, the out-of-state, that is just the certification, the actual curriculum. There's 2 years of field experience that is required as well by the State Water Resource Control Board. So we follow what they lay out for us.
But the field training is not being covered. It's just the curriculum that's being covered, correct, under ETP dollars.
I'm sorry, what?
So it's not the 2-year field training because that's way over the hours. It's the book side of it, of the knowledge.
Yes, and prior to COVID, they used to come here and do the training. Then they started doing it, through web training. So that's what we're doing now.
From my 2 cents, you guys I think there's an element of it's been used for 15 years. It should have probably been raised when putting the original proposal together, but that's just and that we're looking to date back to when we started the contract. It should have really come up at the beginning. If you were saying to me, I want to add it now and not retro, I might have a slightly different.
Yeah, we've been using it all along, and with with the 8 new jobs that we've created, they've all done that training. So.
Where are others?
I'm looking at my cable.
I always look at you because we just have to make a decision, don't we, if we will allow or not. I don't know if Madison's got any thoughts. I keep forgetting she's behind me.
Is the issue that you said before COVID, they used to come in and do the training, and that's why this is becoming an issue because now it's web-based? Is that the change? I think we're all trying to understand.
I think the challenge we're trying to understand, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, they're asking for an out-of-state vendor that wasn't listed in their initial proposal. There's retroactive to do any training with this contract, this company who's out of state as of the beginning of the contract from December 2022. Am I right? That's what I'm hearing. That's the summary that I'm feeling, is that more so than they used to come in and out, and this is a vendor they've used for 15 years. No, it's not about the modality. It's about the vendor and retroing it back to when it wasn't in the initial.
Yeah, I have an issue with the retro, and I'm in alignment with Doug on the out-of-state.
Yeah, unfortunately, if there wasn't, and I don't want to see this be the case, but if there wasn't an in-state option, I would more, I guess, understand it, but knowing that there's an in-state option based on what you said, which I appreciate the honesty, it makes it more difficult for me to feel good that these funds are going to go where they're going to go. Whether this company came into town to train and now they're not doing that or not, it's still an out-of-state company. And
Madam Chair, if I may just add a little bit of information. Just had a quick conversation, brought up some good points around this. One of the points around it is that as far as the amendment itself or out of state, the intent is the reason it's here is because of the out-of-state training. That rule has been in place, obviously, but it wasn't enforced until recently.
Relaxed, wasn't it?
And so that being the case, that may be the reason why when this proposal initially came forward, it wasn't out of state, wasn't considered because it wasn't being reinforced at that point in time. We have now gone back and are reinforcing this out-of-state vendor requirement. And in doing so, when they tried to then submit their processing, I would imagine in regards to it, then that's when we caught it and we said, okay, well now if you want to use that vendor, then we have to go through this process.
Yeah, it's the relaxation of the rules that we had around out-of-state, isn't it? That's caught this.
And Madam Chair, just to add to Jaime's comments, this was discovered in a monitoring visit, and that's where we led to, the amendment request.
Yep. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. That may help.
Yeah, so I just to be clear, right? So from our end, there's some liability and fault on our end as well because it wasn't being enforced at that point.
Because there was that flex, wasn't there,
Correct.
around? I remember when we had some stuff back in 23, we went back to out-of-state vendors. And, yeah.
So moving forward, this won't apply, but for this contract that was in 2022, it does apply. Or it wasn't really
enforced.
It was not enforced in the same way as it is now.
And I just want to clarify too that we do have trainees that are currently in process receiving these trainees. How many?
I think there's only one now of the 9 new people that we've hired.
Thank you.
Everyone else has gone through the training and have received their certification.
So we're talking about one trainee in the entire contract, or is it more than that in the entire contract as we look at this, I guess, because one is a lot smaller than
9.
No,
so
we've already done, the other ones have all gone through it already.
But one is pending.
I think he's scheduled for it within the next month.
Okay.
But in this contract, we're asking for how many total for the retrospective, because we're asking to retro it from the beginning of this contract. So how many, was it 9? Is that what I heard?
I'm thinking it's 8, but I could be wrong with that.
Total dollar amount, 34,000?
No, that's
number I see.
I think that's where they sit on the current performance, not the individuals in this training. So how many hours of training is it per individual? Because
it's 12 hours. It's 4 hours over 3 days for each one.
It's 8 to 9 employees at 12 hours a piece, which isn't a huge amount.
Correct.
In the greater scale of a employees training.
So,
Madam Chair, one additional clarification in regards to the total amount of the contract, and my team can correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I believe it is the $34,270 is the total dollar amount of the contract.
That
is correct.
It's a delegation order.
So for what it's worth at this point, honestly, I would probably say that we go ahead and accept this. And I don't know that it's fair using your numbers. If there's 8 people that have already taken it, 1 who is not, for us to pull this back now, if potentially, as you mentioned, it was maybe a misstep on our part that we didn't catch it when it initially came to the table with us. I don't know that that's going to be fair to us now to pull back and reject, and one individual possibly doesn't get that training. So I would make the motion, if it's appropriate, that we accept this amendment.
Okay. So we have a second. Do we have public comment?
No public comments online.
Right, so we'll move to vote.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye. So we're all in approval. It will move forward and the amendment is approved.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
If you will please turn to tab 22. Tab 22 is a proposal from Levaya Sabia Inc., DBA Cattle Feeders. Levaya Sabia is requesting $107,520 to train a total of 96 retrainees. Training will take place at Levaya Sabia's location in Imperial County. This would be the company's second ETP contract and the second in the past 5 years. However, we do need to make a correction to the presented proposal. Levaya Sabia is requesting a high unemployment area wage modification as indicated in the training plan table. The HOA narrative section of the proposal incorrectly states the company is not requesting an HOA modification. Representative from Levaya Sabia is present to answer any questions from the panel.
Good afternoon. My name is Jabela Negrete. I am the HR manager for Levaya Sabia. I have been there for 10 years in my current role for 1. We are a family-owned company in agriculture. We just opened our feedlot a couple years back with crossbreed Wagyu. And I am open to any questions you guys might have regarding our proposal.
Thank you. Does the panel have any questions?
No questions?
Motion to approve Levi Sabia Inc. DBA Cattle Feeders, contract number ET 25-0116 in the amount of $107,520.
Second.
Second, thank you. Any public comments?
No public comments online.
All right, so we'll move to vote, please.
Chris Dombrowski. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Doug Tracy.
Aye.
Madison Hall.
Aye.
So that all in approved, so the motion is adopted. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so we are now moving on. I believe that's all proposals, unless I missed something, because some days I do. That's all proposals done. Good. All right, so we're now moving on to a presentation on the paid family leave small business grant.
Good morning. I believe I have a PowerPoint presentation.
Sorry about that. I'm pulling it up right now.
So are we having technical difficulties with the share?
If it's okay, I see that everyone has a copy. I can grab my copy and do it that way.
Yeah, no problems. I don't know if everyone in
Oh,
the room does. There we go.
wonderful.
It's up.
Great, thank you. My name is Dr. Indiria Gillespie, and I'm the president and owner of Gillespie Consulting Services. And I'll be presenting to you today the Paid Family Leave Small Business Grant Years 1 and 2. Next slide, please. California's Paid Family Leave Small Business Grant is funded with $1 million according to the fiscal allocation per annum to award grant contracts to ETP eligible multiple employer contractors, also referred to as MEC in California. The MECs go out and conduct outreach to find small businesses that have employees out on paid family leave, and they assist them with applying for the micro grants through the ETP. Employers with 50 or less employees receive $2,000, whereas employers with 51 to 100 employees can get $1,000 if they have an employee out on paid family leave. And those funds is just to help abate the cost of having an employee out on paid family leave. The PFLSB grant funds help to sustain grantee small businesses, ensuring job security and stability for workers. Next slide, please. The purpose of the grant is to keep businesses open and retain employees. Next slide, please. Multiple employer contractors, or MECs. There were 4 over the course of years 1 and 2, with 2 being in each year. Year 1, Central Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And in year 2, Greater San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce, who I will discuss a little bit more later as well, and Tulare Kings Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Next slide, please. How many small businesses were served? So overall, for the two years, years 1 and 2, 736 grants were dispersed to small businesses with employers out on paid family leave. And that's over 24 counties, or 41% of California's 58 counties. And so that's a wide distribution base, and only 4 MECs were able to accomplish this over the course of the 2 years. Year 1 had 329 or 44.7% of the overall 736 grants dispersed. Year 2 dispersed 407 or 55.3% grants. This was an increase by 78 grants or 23%. And this is a new program. So you see how the program is growing from year 1 into year 2. And we're currently administering year 3 right now. Next slide, please. The number of grants by dollar amount. So you see there's a $500 one there, and only 5 were administered during year 1. That is because the $500 was the only grant that was available. And the ETP, Chris Hoover at the ETP, recognized that that was not sustainable for businesses to help cover and offset those expenses when employers are out on paid family leave. So the dollar amount of $500 was sunsetted, and then they brought in 2 other grant amounts, that $1,000 and $2,000. During year 1, 21 employers received the $1,000 grant, and in year 2, you see it almost tripled to 62. Regarding the $2,000 grant in year 1, you see the bulk of the funds went to the $2,000 grant. There was 303 distributed in year 1 and 345 in year 2. Next slide. So why did the employees go out on paid family leave. So there were two reasons why they went out, either to care for a sick family member or because they were adopting a new child or having a new child in the household. So in year one, 74 or 23.2% went out because they were caring for a sick family member, whereas in year two, 60 went out for the same reason, or 14.7%. You see, the predominant reason why a lot of employees went out on paid family leave was because of a new child. In year one, 255 or 76.8%, versus in year two, 347 or 85.3% went out due to a new child. New slide, please. How were the funds utilized? So the funds were utilized to either upskill and train existing employees or hire a replacement, whether it's a temporary or a new hire. And then some of the employers used it for both reasons. So in year one, you see year one and year two kind of mimic each other for upskill and training. Year one, there was 133 versus in year two, 134 employers used it for upskilling and training. And for hiring, it was for year one, 32, and year two, 35. However, you see a predominant number utilize the funds for both reasons. Year one, 164 versus year two, 238. Next slide, please. Employee retention. This is very important. So when employees go out on paid family leave, this question was asking how many of them returned back to work. Now, this was not, this was asked of all of the employers. However, we only got 95 respondents for this question. So in year one, there were 36 respondents, and in year two, 59 respondents. So how many returned to work? In year one, 32 returned to work out of 36. So that's a very high percentage at 88.9%. And that number improved in year two. 56 or 95% out of the 59 returned back to work. So out of the years 1 and 2 collectively, 88 or 92.6% returned to work. And then when you look at the no's, how many did not return to work? Those numbers are very small. So only 3 out of 36 in year one and only 2 out of 59 in year two did not return to work. And for each of the years, only 1 did not know or was not sure if the employee returned to work. And it could have been because the employee was still out and their paid family leave had not ended yet. Next slide, please. So this question, again, was a survey question, and there were 95 respondents, 36 for year one and 59 for year two. And the question was, how much was the actual cost to the company if an employee went out on paid family leave? So in year one, 3 employers stated that the cost was $1 to $999. And in year two, 5 of them stated the same. 3 in year one and 4 in year two stated that cost was $1,000 to $1,999. And you see there's a little extra 9. There's a little mistake. And for year one, in regards to the cost being $2,000 to $2,999, year one, 10 respondents indicated that that was the cost, and 7 in year two. The bulk stated that the cost is over $3,000 when an employee goes out on paid family leave. So 20 in year one stated that it was over $3,000, and 43 stated that it was over $3,000 in year two. Next slide, please. So let's talk about some of the successes. And remember, I said I was going to mention the Greater San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce to you again. So the contracts were 2-year contracts, and Greater San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce was able to disperse their $500,000 funds to small businesses that were financially stressed due to employers being out on paid family leave, and they dispersed those funds within 1 year. And so they did it in half the time. Additionally, they used their extra time to assist other chambers with getting their funds out. And they're also part of the paid family leave year 3, which is currently going now. Also, as I mentioned before, employee retention was phenomenal during year 1 and 2. 88 or 92.6% jobs were actually saved in year 1, and 95 or 100% were businesses were still in operation. I'm sorry, collectively, 95 or 100% of businesses still were in operation. So no businesses closed due to the extra cost of employees being out on paid family leave. Another success was that the ETP was very nimble and seeing that $500 was not feasible for small businesses, and being able to go to the board and get approval for the grant amount to change to $1,000 and $2,000. Additionally, another change that was made, the MECs they had to do marketing and outreach to go out and find these small businesses, and that was costly. So money was earmarked as part of the original grant, the $500,000 grant. 12% or $60,000 was allocated to support costs for marketing and outreach. Next slide, please. Any questions?
Don't like any questions. I think I just have one around the allowances. When you're looking at it, if you were to make a recommendation for future, like having looked at the data, I think I know where you're going to say this. Obviously, we eliminated the $500. And when you're looking at the average cost of an employee being out on paid family leave versus the grants that we're awarding, is there a recommendation for us to reevaluate or keep it at the amounts that they are? I'm just curious from the research you were finding.
I recommend that the dollar amount stay the same. And the reason why is because the grant opportunity was opened up to businesses that had employees up to 100 employees. So $3,000 may be in excess for businesses that only have 1 to 10 employees or 1 to 20 employees, which is the predominant number of small businesses in California.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No.
Do you have data on the average length of the leave?
It really depends if it was due to a sick family member, because then we don't know, what that prognosis is. And if it's a new child. If it's a new child, usually there's an average of 2 to 3 months, but it's hard to tell with the family member.
You don't collect that data?
I did collect that data. However, I don't recall that data offhand.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And I also, on behalf of the ETP and the grantees, would like to thank the ETP for funding the Paid Family Leave Small Business Program. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're moving onto the agenda for an update from Studio Arts.
Good afternoon now. I'm going to read a brief statement here about where we are in our ET 240232 contract. We successfully begun, and our contract is in its 6th month of training. And at this point, it started January 30th and is now 6 months through the most significant portion of this year. Training was started and continued to support participating employers and their desire to have highly skilled workers remain up to date with the latest trends in industry. There are currently 56 participating employers and 130 employees enrolled in training as of July 24th. And the training consists of classes in the subject areas listed in our MEC. They include computer skills training using the prevailing software packages as used in the entertainment industry, such as Unreal Engine, Blender, and others listed in our MEC. Training is provided mainly to animation and visual effects and post-production companies in film, television, and games. A change has been that training has substantially expanded to new companies in the broadcast arena, namely CBS and Fox, Fox locally and CBS throughout the state. And then we are doing corporate training for them on a national broadcast level. So that's for the graphic designers for the CBS Evening News, for CBS Sunday Morning, et cetera. Let's see, okay. Studio Arts operates on a quarterly basis with winter and spring quarters having been completed so far. And summer quarter is currently underway. Training commences on August 19th. At the point of this report, we are roughly halfway through training for 2024 and have used approximately 25% of funding allotted for our entire MEC. With 6, possibly 7 quarters of eligible training remaining in our MEC, Studio Arts is on target to complete all available funding by September 30th, 25. Would you have any questions for me today?
Does anyone have questions? So I'm looking at numbers. My numbers feel a bit different. I'm looking at the MEC that was awarded with 342 trainees, and we're looking at about 130. So are we looking at those 130 that have been enrolled in the first 6 months? Are they starting to complete training? Are they just enrolled? Where do they sit in their training numbers?
Well, the way it will work for us is that our contract is going to expire December 30th next year. So we have to finish all training by September 30th. And that gives us the 90-day window for traditional retention. Now, I want to point out something because it may end up being that some people would be dropped after 9/30 because if they say went to the 91st day before they made retention, we can't count them for this particular contract. We do have AR
on that one. So the definition of post-retention is once they finish training, it's not September 30th of next year that everyone has to be 90 days post then. It's at the end of training.
Precisely. So what we want to do is have the training finished before September 30th. We work on a quarterly basis. So our first day of fall quarter will be October 1st. And that would coincide with finishing up summer quarter. So you figure summer, spring, and winter of next year is 3. And then we have fall, and we are currently in summer. So I was wrong in my math, sorry. It's 5 quarters worth of training that we could do.
So in their quarters of training, I'm trying to get my head around the approach here. So in their quarters of training, you've had, since the beginning of this contract, it went live in the beginning of this year, pretty much. You've had at least 1 semester. Are they enrolled for 5 semesters? So the 200 hours is spread across 5 semesters, or are they enrolled, they complete a semester and that's their 200 hours?
No, it's all over the place.
Okay. So it works I guess for me, it's knowing how are you doing with the 130 you currently have enrolled? Well, are any of them close to it, not close to it as you're managing through this contract?
The 130 that we're talking about here are people who have enrolled since the beginning of the training. The training didn't begin until January 30th.
Yeah.
And that was per our previous meeting in October where we agreed to not start until December 31st. So the training began January 30th, and there were people who were doing as little as 15 hours. There are others who have done in excess of 90 hours so far. They're still enrolled, they're still in training. And part of the reason for that right there is that Unreal Engine has approached well in excess of 50% of what we're seeing for the visual effects in particular, but also the regular computer animation work that is happening in town. It's not brand new, but it's been new in the sense of being used for traditional film production. just this past year. Now, part of the problem for some of the companies that would normally use it is that there have been labor negotiations going with the AMPTP between the IA, the AMPTP, and those were finished last fall. We also had SAG, and we had those negotiations that were completed last year. The total sum of all of that would be that a significant amount of training wasn't able to get going for Unreal Engine in particular because many people weren't working at that time.
So in the current environment is what I'm going to say. So going from January forward, have you had people who've completed their hours of training, or are people, because what I'm hearing is a lot of, it feels very all over the place. We really want you to be successful. That's why we've given extra monitoring visits and those. From what I'm hearing, it still feels like it's very much like we're throwing spaghetti, hoping we might have someone enrolled, but we're not looking at how do we close them out, or are they near their hours? Can we close them out so we can start getting you through the invoicing side of it as well? So I guess it's kind of like, I'm hearing there's a lot of things, but I'm not hearing there's movement towards tracking of hours and keeping on top of hours to be able to say, yes, they've met their they've met the training hours. So we can close them out. We can then do 90-day retention. And you can say in 6 months time, like the end of this year, we have 130 trainees that have gone through and are actually have done the retention and everything. So you actually have a number on the books of dollars spent so far or hours of training. I feel like I'm hearing there's enrollees, but I'm not hearing hours of training happening.
I can answer any question you have about it. Well, at this point, since we're 6 months in, we have chosen not to invoice for anything yet, based on past history. And one reason why it took so long to get another contract is to ensure that we make retention at the 90-day mark. If they've been in training for, we'll say, those 3 months of the first quarter, which is called for us winter quarter, then at the end of spring, which would be June 30th, we could expect that some of those people have made retention, and we will be invoicing for those people. We'll probably do a P1 through P4 invoice system where we P1 and then we P2. We also P4 at the same time. There will be a few that will be on AR because they are not going to make the 90 days. Mm-hmm. And those people will probably try to bill for once they've made the 500 hours they need for AR. That could be as late as the end of December. We don't know yet.
So what would you say of your 130 trainees is the average hours of training that they've received so far in this first 6 months?
There will be far in excess of 130 people coming through this contract.
But in to this date, you have 130 enrolled. What would you say their average training hours are so far?
Well, I mean, if I'd known that beforehand, I could have given you an exact number. The number of trainees is reflecting anywhere from 15 to about 120 hours of training each one. Now, if you're looking for a median, then it would be maybe 45 hours. I don't think that many people are even doing 45 hours. The gross number of people are doing 30 hours or less.
Okay.
Chairperson Betancourt. So right now for ET 240232 for Studio Arts, there's total eligible hours tracked in Cali4 system, 4,166. With the 130 trainees enrolled, it's an average of 32 hours.
Okay, so we are seeing progress tracking.
Yes.
Towards, okay,
and
fantastic.
We have the percentage into the training period, which is 33% of the time, and currently potential performance is at 28%. So tracking relatively closely time-wise to percentage earned potential earnings as well. So
thank you. Mike.
Yeah, sir, the question to me is not the detail, it's what's your confidence level?
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, sir. I probably.
Yeah, the question to me is what's your confidence level that you're going to finish the contract at 100%?
It's pretty high. I have been doing this a long time, and I've been in many meetings. And given everything, I can't possibly predict if we're going to actually finish 100%. I think it's more reasonable to think that we'd be at least 75%. I think that 100% is likely, but I'm not going to make that promise here. The problems that we're facing in this industry right now are grave, in my opinion. It's the legacy of the 2 strikes that we had last year. I'm speaking strictly from an IA or Teamsters point of view, and Teamsters are coming up for negotiations right now with the AMPTP. If you're looking at it strictly from the union point of view, we have members coming from 839, which is the group that Noman talked about a little earlier today. But we also have Local 800, Local 700, Local 600, Local 44. These various locals that have members coming to us have been out of work. Another factor here is that when they do return to work, work isn't seasonal in the traditional sense of, you know, is it sunny outside? Is it warm outside? It's seasonal in terms of how streaming works, or in this case, network broadcast works. It's also dependent on seasonal flow for movie theatrical films, you know, visual effects companies affected by providing their services, pre-visualization companies, same thing, and post-production companies for finishing and getting the product out for exhibition. So given all that, it is so unpredictable. I'm not going to say, oh, I think we're going to do 100%. Honestly, I don't know. I'm hopeful. We had pretty good performance in the past. So I'm not worried about the performance part. The thing I concern myself with is, am I going to go for a bigger contract next time? Probably not. I think this is as much as we can handle right now. Per your earlier part of the meeting, when you kind of deduced that could be the case. So I think we're doing very, very well.
Thank you. Actually, I wasn't looking for a guarantee, just a confidence level. And I think you thoroughly explained why the contract might end up at 75%.
Yeah,
could be, but are you going to give me a bonus if I make it to 100%? No, just kidding, guys.
So the only other question I have is around, when I look at prior contracts, and I think this was one of the biggest concerns of panel last time, was the management of the contract. So the data integrity, the accuracy, were people meeting minimum wages? Were they occupations that were included? If I look at the audits, the trail has been very consistent. I think my last question to you is, what improvements have you put in place, or process have you put in place to really secure the administration of the contract? You heard me ask some others earlier about how you're going to manage this contract. What have you put in place to help with that, to help ensure that the data integrity is, the data is good and it's the right employee, the right enrollees, et cetera?
The big difference has been on this contract that we're using all our Zoom data to ensure that it is accurate to the second exactly how much time people are spending in training. I don't know of any other MEC that even approaches that kind of accuracy, and maybe they do, but I don't think they do. My guess is that they kind of have to guess if the person came in at a certain time, signed in at a certain time, left at a certain time. I don't personally think that I would trust any of the numbers from any other MECs that aren't doing it as we do, to the minute, exactly how much time they spend in training. The other thing that we're doing is that we're ensuring that the people that get this training report back to us initially about their retention on the job. Doesn't work out very well with that. You can't trust people to tell you, they sometimes don't get back to you. So we have to work very closely with HR to ensure that they have made their 90th day past their, for their retention. And then sometimes when you get back to the HR people, HR has changed and now there's a new person you're dealing with, and then you have to make sure that they understand what ETP is, why the company's doing it. You sometimes get into that. But for the most part, it's really about fact checking. The Zoom minutes are very important, I think. If you're going to be doing this kind of delivery, you need to have a backup of some kind, and say, yep, they were there. They were there for that period of time. The other is to make sure that HR has ensured that they have been on the job. You cannot trust the trainee to tell you that because they could very well have been laid off and you don't know it.
So when you are having a trainee come in, because when I look at like prior audits, I look at this and I'm not hearing quite what I really want to hear about, like process improvements. Do you have agreements between your employers or trainees so that you are clear about the expectations so that you get the accurate data back or those kind of pieces? Because a lot of this seems to stem from a lot of that and from what you're saying around not meeting minimum wage requirements, not meeting full-time employment requirements.
Yes.
So I just want you to be successful. I feel like I'm not hearing yet how we're really ensuring the administration. And I'm sure when staff go out and do monitoring visits, they're going to pull on the same things because that's the piece that's going to get you your funding. So I guess for me, I want you to focus a bit more on that, I think, to ensure that success. That's just my recommendation, because every monitoring visit or audits in the past have taken fairly large sums away because of administration errors. And so I think it's just important to focus a bit on that to ensure that consistency going forward. That's just my concern as I'm hearing at the moment from we're 6 months in, I'm not feeling like strength here on that bit, but maybe staff will find things that I haven't got in questions when they come out and monitor, but that's my concern. I don't know if anyone else has any others or feeling the same. Okay. Any other questions, guys? No. Okay. I think that's all we have.
I think it's time for lunch.
I think we're coming up to lunchtime. We are coming very close to lunch. So no, thank you for that update though.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, folks. It's been a thrill to be able to come back to this. And in particular, the training that we've been doing with Fox and CBS has been just a real revelation because I believe the broadcast companies in particular tend to get kind of forgotten in this whole scheme of things. I don't know how many other MECs have handled broadcast companies. In fact, you have KOVR here in Sacramento, and they're in our ETP plan. I don't know if you're aware, but we have your local station, your CBS station here that's doing training with us. And I think they feel privileged to be able to do it. They're surprised they have it. And the benefit to KOVR and KPIX in San Francisco has been that they are doing new kinds of broadcast graphics that are much more exciting and much more compelling for the average viewer. So it's not like you're seeing the news anymore. You're seeing very interactive news that's entertaining to watch and get information. So thank you very much for giving and extending another opportunity to us. It's much appreciated.
You're welcome. We look forward to seeing you in 12 months and hearing your successes.
When do you want to see me again?
I think it's 12 months, isn't it? Another 6 months, yeah. So 12
Could be
months
in
into
January,
the
I would
contract.
think.
In my head, I'm like, 12 months is just in 12 months time. Yeah. So in 6 months, we said, so after the 12th month.
Very good.
Yeah.
Enjoy your lunch, everyone. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you. All right. So this is bringing us to the end-ish part of the meeting. I'm going to ask if any panel members have anything they wish to request for future agenda items. Looking down the line, looks very quiet. Madison. No. Okay. So no publicans, no, let me get my words out, it's lunchtime. No extra agenda items for future. So we're going to move to a public comment on matters that are not on the agenda. We will stand with our usual 3 minutes and Alejandra will manage this. All right. So we're starting online. Do we have any online?
Yes, we do. We have one public comment.
Let's get one public comment online and then we'll come to the room. I know Phil's like eager.
Elsa, can you hear us? Hello? Okay, maybe not.
Maybe not. Let's switch to the room and then if they come back, we can always come back to it.
She's having lunch, I think.
Must be. It's a mouthful of food at times. Yeah.
Philip Herrera and Company. I want to first thank staff for bringing such amazing applications today, two GoBiz endorsed applications, one in life sciences and one in semiconductors. And this leads me into what I wanted to say in my public comment about SB 1321. There are those of us who represent both MECs and single employers that have taken a deep dive into the proposed legislation. We're very concerned about what it would do to the program going forward. I agree with council that this is just a bill. It is currently on suspense, and I'm not a lobbyist, but there's a high probability that it will make it to the assembly floor and onto the governor's desk. And I just want to let you know that me and my colleagues will be working hard to protect the agency. And if there's any questions about the bill, you can always contact me directly. But again, great job today. Really good panel meeting. Thank you.
We have anyone online?
Yes, we do. Rocio, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Rocio Leon from the California Manufacturing Technology Consulting. I just wanted to note that it was the review that the panel is requesting. I understand the concern and the desire for doing due diligence and asking contractors about where they are in their current performance on their multi-employer contracts. But I'm going to also voice that my desire would be that the panel would look at past performance as a metric for confidence in future performance. CMTC has been a longtime contractor with ETP. We've had 22 successful contracts that have all earned 100%. As one of the prior contractors, applicants came forward, said they perform above and beyond the hours. There's folks that we're training that we're not going to get reimbursed for because the hours exceed the value of the contract. But we want to both make sure that we're taking care of the customers that we're serving, taking care of the businesses and the workers, and we're not going to say no. And that also puts us in a position where we know we're going to be able to fulfill all of the ETP requirements. The conversation about this was very robust at the panel, at the committee meeting. And I don't, if there was a conversation about it, maybe it was when I had to step away from the panel meeting for a few minutes, but I don't recall hearing anything about that during today's meeting. And I would like that to be part of the conversation going forward. CMTC's primary customer base is the manufacturing base. The vast majority of our employers have less than 100 employees. In fact, the majority have less than 30 employees. And those are the folks that ETP has very limited access to without the multi-employer contractors. And so creating opportunities for us to continue to serve that customer base and fulfill on both our individual organizational missions and ETP's mission is really important. There is a report that was published recently that 2,500 small employers were served. Of those, 90% were through the multi-employer contracts. That's 2,400 companies that would either receive no benefit from ETP at all, or that would have to apply for a contract. That would be a weight on staff. That would be a weight on that employer. And so many of them would simply turn away, and that would be the limited opportunity for both those organizations, those workers, and the benefit that comes to the state and the ability for ETP to fulfill its mission. There's a lot of things that stand in the way of the metric as ETP has put forward now. We have companies that do training all the way through the last day of the contract. That means it's going to be a long time before they get to the 90 days. We don't have control over how long it takes ETP to process an invoice. So I guess my time is up. I'd like to continue this conversation at another time.
Any other public comments?
No other public comments online.
All right, and it does not look like we have any more public comments in the room unless someone's running to that microphone, but I don't think they are. Phil, you did that beforehand, so that's okay. So now I'm going to look to the panel for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All right, can we move to vote?
Chris Dombrowski, Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Jennifer Fullergill,
Aye.
Doug Tracy, Madison Hall.
Aye. Alrighty, so we are all in favor to adjourn. So we're going to adjourn this meeting at 12:31 p.m. All that.